Hello and welcome to your budget project. I'll be your host. Just kidding. Okay, so every year we do a budget project. Let me pull up the little instructions. There we go. This year's no different as far as doing a project. The format of the project is slightly different because you know more about Excel than people in years past, which is a good thing. Okay, so our budget project basically, you're going to pick a job. This is going to be like your ideal job after college. So say you want to do graphic design and you want to work for an animation company. Maybe you want to go to work for Pixar. So what you would do is you would pick your ideal job. You would find ideally a company here in Houston because it's easier to, since we live here, it's easier to kind of get an idea how much we'd be spending. But so you'd find a company that offers that particular job. You would research, not necessarily for that company, but in general, what the average starting salary is for the job. Because when you get out of college, you're not going to be making the average amount that a person doing that would make. So if you are a civil engineer, you're not going to get out making the average. Like if the average is like 120,000 a year, you're not going to make that straight out of college. You might get 60. So yeah, you need to find the average starting salary. So that's the salary that you're going to use. And then you're going to, based on the company that you find, you're going to find an apartment, like you're going to research kind of in that area where that company is. So if the company is in the Rice area, then you're going to find an apartment near the Rice area. You're going to find the basic living expenses, average electrical costs. You can find all that by Googling. And then you're going to set up a spreadsheet. So your whole project is going to be this spreadsheet, and it's going to need categories. So you have to have your job. So this is your ideal job after college. Your housing. So you're going to find an apartment. For right now, we're just going to assume that you're starting with an apartment. You'll probably end up getting a house later, but straight out of college, when you're first starting out, generally mortgage companies won't give you a mortgage for your starting. Like they want to see that you've already made that amount for a year or two before they depend on that. So just assume that you start out with an apartment. You're going to buy a car for $34,000 at 1.2% for 6 years. I don't recommend doing this. I recommend saving up and paying cash so that you're not strapped with a payment. But just pretend this is for the project. Okay, based on your apartment, you're going to find some utilities for the area, average electrical cost. Most apartments don't have gas because it's kind of a safety thing. But so usually you'll have electricity, water. Sometimes water will be included. Usually if you look up an apartment complex, it'll say water included, or it won't say anything, which means you're going to have to pay that. Also internet costs. You're going to research food options. So there are three basic options. There are more, but one option would be to eat out for every single meal. That's obviously more expensive. Another option would be to cook everything yourself. So you would go grocery shopping, you would cook, you would take leftovers for work, for lunch. The third option would be to get one of those meal services where they send you the ingredients and then you cook it. So it's kind of like a hybrid shopping, eating out type thing because they send you the stuff, but you have to cook it. And there are several ones of those, like Every Plate, Green Chef, Blue Apron. So you would just find one of those and see what the cost per month would be on that. And then you're going to choose how you're going to do that. And then, if you want to pick one of those three, or if you want to have them, or pick one of those two, I guess it is. Oh no, those three. And then I got to fix this. It says a mix of the two. Anyway, so you could choose your food option or a mix of those three. Then entertainment and fun stuff. So monthly cost of streaming services, other entertainment. If you're going to put money aside to go to vacation, you would have it there for future. So in addition to the 401k that you have at work, so we're not including the 401k cost in the spreadsheet, but in reality, you would have that coming out as well. So you're going to set aside some monthly savings. How much you set aside is up to you. You're going to create a table of how much you'll have in 40 years at 1.3% interest. And then that's also, you're putting in per month. So that'll be included on your monthly budget. So then finally, you're going to have a total budget. So you're going to create a table and it's going to have your monthly income, all of your monthly expenses on this one. So you're going to refer to the individual tables. Don't just type in numbers. Let me go here. Okay, so we did this in 2 videos ago. This is your like a total budget spreadsheet. You'll make it prettier. You'll put your logo on it. Just make it nice. But notice how here, so like I'll look at housing. It's $800 right here. So it looks like I just typed, except look up here. I didn't just type. So if I had just typed, so like say I put something here. If I click on this cell up here, it says what I typed. So if I click on this, up here it says 654 because that's what's in that cell. If I had put a formula in, so equals sum of something, if I click out of that, if I click back on that cell, it has what I typed. So that's an easy way to see that y'all typed instead of doing your little formats. On this one, if I click on this, notice it says equals housing exclamation point D9. Housing exclamation point is the sheet that I'm referring to. So if you look down here, there's a sheet that says housing. That's that. So this is referring to a cell within that sheet. So if I click on that, D9 is this total, which is 800. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me, not corona, just allergies. I forgot to take the stuff. Anyway, that's 800. So over here, it's 800. Excuse me again. If I change this, so like let's say I got an apartment for $1,000 a month. Oops. Okay. So now it's $1,050 because I included my little renter's insurance. Over on my total budget, it goes $1,050. So when you put in your amounts for your budget, refer to the different sheets. So each category is going to have a sheet. Or if you wanted to, you could do like on bills, you could do a main sheet with a whole bunch of different things on there. But when you come to this table here, it needs to refer to those little squares. Like don't just type in a number. If you type in a number, I'm counting off. Like it's just wrong. Because I want you to refer to the sheet. That way Excel still does everything for you and you don't have to touch a thing, which is the point of the whole thing. So also notice that this turned red. Oops. Right here it says if your total expenses are more than your income, you need to conditionally format the expenses cell so it turns a different color. So that's what I did here. So in this case, I'm only making $3,100 a month, but I'm spending $3,300 a month. So notice that it turned red. That's that conditional formatting thing that we did before. The basic way you do it is you go conditional formatting, highlight cells. So let me clear this. Okay, so I want this to turn red if it's greater than this. So I go up to conditional formatting, highlight cells, greater than. I want it to refer to this cell, so it says format cells that are greater than whatever is here. Don't type numbers because numbers can change. I want to refer to the cell so that way if it changes, it updates automatically. I don't like this color, but whatever. Well, okay, now I'm going to go make it darker. Maybe I'll do bright yellow instead. Usually I do red because it's like, oh no. So let's say it's bright yellow. So then if it goes above my income, then I know I'm spending too much and it highlights yellow and says, hey, you're spending too much, right? So if I go over to my job, let's say I got a different job and I was making $75,000 a year, this updates automatically. Over here, it updates automatically. Notice it's not yellow anymore. So that's a conditional formatting. So you need to have that too. And that's your budget project. So once you finish this, then you'll submit it. Like we did before, you go file, share, and then share with me, but also put a link in. That way, like when you submit it in or upload the file, I think you can upload the file. So you would just do that in Schoology. So on your project, you have the option, you can create this table in Excel or you can create it in Google Sheets. They'll both do the exact same thing. You can refer to sheets on each one. So like here, if I create more tabs, so now I have a tab 2, I could still refer to something else. So I could equals, click on sheet 1, here, enter. So if I go back to sheet 2, it shows up here. So you can do the exact same thing on sheets as you can with Excel. So either one of those is totally fine as long as you have everything all formatted and you have tabs for everything and everything's all pretty. And I would put like, do some outlining stuff, just make it look professional. So that is your project. And this will be posted on Schoology with a mix of 3 instead of 2. Can I change that? No, I cannot. Okay, I'll update it. But yeah, so this will be on Schoology. Everything will be on Schoology, and that is your budget project.